Well, it seems like you cannot stop dinosaurs, as we've gotten a brand new sort of archetype just revealed that will be coming out soon. Hey, this is Gatorx, and yeah, I'm going to be talking about the brand new sort of archetype. These are called the Transcendrakes, and they are a set of monsters that are going to be coming out in the next deck building pack in Japan, and then we'll be getting it here in the US eventually. So I'm going to go and discuss the cards that were revealed so far. So the first main monster is Xeno Meteoros. This is a level 6 fire dinosaur tuner monster. Very interesting stats there, but everything will make a lot of sense, as because the extra deck monsters that were revealed are effectively retrains of some pre-existing level 6 normal dinosaur monsters, and so everything just really works all together once you start seeing how they really want you to play it. So this monster, you can only use each effect once per turn. The first effect is that if a card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. And that does play with the other dinosaur monsters like Baby Ceratosaurus, Petite Pteranodon, which really do want to be destroyed, and a lot of the other dinosaur cards that, you know, destroy your own cards in order to get those advantage. Those babies are very, very good because they are if effects and they are not once per turn, so just being able to gain extra advantage when those monsters are destroyed, as well as another outlet to destroy them, is pretty interesting. And now we get the second effect that says, during your main phase you can activate this effect. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except dragon, dinosaur, sea serpent, or worm monsters. Also destroy one dinosaur monster you control or in your hand, then special summon one dinosaur normal monster from your hand or deck. So you can sort of see how this plays out. You're able to summon it if you do destroy things, or it can help to further destroy even more of your stuff, because its second effect is going to allow you to summon one of those vanilla dinosaur monsters from the deck in order to use for Synchro Summon, Fusion Summon, or Xyz Summon, and on top of that, it's going to destroy one of the babies to get extra advantage off of. Now, even though this is effectively a free monster and it is a level 6 tuner, it would play pretty nicely with your level 4 monsters in order to make a nice level 10 Synchro, like Baron de Fleur, which you definitely could do as long as you don't use that second effect, but that second effect is what would really gain you even more advantage, so it is restrictive in that sense. Overall, I think this is an interesting little monster, although the crazy thing is this is kind of like the main monster, and the theming around it is that it would be combining with those other vanilla monsters in order to create the extra deck monsters, and that's kind of effectively what it does. We do have one more main deck monster though, and it is Transcendrick Meteoro, so effectively the upgraded version of this, and all the big guys are level 12. This one, again, being level 12 and 3,500 attack, a lot. So this card cannot be normal summoned or set and must be special summoned by a card effect, which includes, you know, its own and whatever other support cards you have in dinosaurs. Now, you can only use each of the effects once per turn. The first effect is that during your opponent's turn, as a quick effect, you can destroy 2 other dinosaur monsters you control or in your hand, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. So that one's interesting. The effect to bring itself out does only work on your opponent's turn. You can't just do this on your turn, unfortunately, but it is a pretty interesting quick effect, you know, just doing it during their, you know, maybe main phase 2, end phase. The other effects are a lot more interesting, and I think just can also help to do a lot of other things. That is a really odd one, just being only your opponent's turn. However, again, you know, there are other cards that you could use to just bring this out. Now, the second effect is that if this card is special summoned, you can send one dinosaur monster from your deck to the graveyard. That would be the normal monsters, because you'll see a lot of the other extra deck monsters really are going to focus on those normal monsters being in the graveyard. And the last effect is basically the same across all of these big level 12 guys. If this card is destroyed, you can shuffle one normal monster from your graveyard into the deck, then you can special summon this card. So this one just being helpful to get those normal monsters in the graveyard, though if you want to be able to keep these guys around, it seems like you're going to have to try and find other ways to keep getting those cards in the graveyard. Unfortunately, they are all basically garnets, just really big fat ones. I guess Frostosaurus would probably be the most useful one, but other than that, this one is a relatively basic card in terms of just getting things started. I don't know how much everything will really be played in standard dinosaurs. This one seems like it could be fun. I think the level 6 is showing the most promise in order to just, you know, splash it into the regular dinosaur decks and to be able to use. So let's move on to the extra deck, and we've got the first fusion monster. This is Transcendrake Zowler. This is basically an upgraded version of Mega Zowler. Again, another one of those level 6 normal monsters. This has 3,800 attack and only requires one dinosaur monster and one normal monster. So again, you're going to want to combine Xenos with, you know, one of your vanillas. Again, you can only use each effect once per turn, and the first effect is that if this card is special summoned, you can target one dinosaur monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Then, if this card was special summoned from the graveyard, you can destroy one card you control or in your hand, and one card your opponent controls. So you get that little Scrap Dragon-ish effect, but also works on cards in your hand for the babies if you have them there. Interesting, I think the first one is adding a card from your graveyard to your hand, so you can just add back a baby, because, you know, it then works like then, if this card was special summoned from the graveyard, if you get that effect. And then the last effect is the same as the previous monster. If this card is destroyed, you can shuffle one normal monster from your graveyard into the deck, then you can special summon this card. Interesting too is that like these monsters are getting extra effects if they are summoned from the graveyard, but I think everything else kind of works out a little better, because especially the Synchro monster, which is Transcendrake Glaceaurus, which is a retrain of Frostosaurus. This one is, I think, the most interesting out of them. So a level 12 water dinosaur synchro monster, 3600 attack. Materials just needs a tuner and a non-tuner. So this is generic, but it is a level 12, so you need to be able to make something that big efficiently, which this deck, being comprised of level 6 monsters, should hopefully make them easier. You can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn, because the other two effects are effectively continuous effects. So the first one is that it can't be destroyed by battle, which is interesting, but the second effect is, I think, what really makes this card shine. It says, your opponent cannot target your dinosaur monsters special summoned from the graveyard with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So that is a big protection effect. Granted, those dinosaur monsters were special summoned from the graveyard. And again, the last effect is that, you know, if this card is destroyed, shuffle a dinosaur monster or a normal monster from your graveyard and deck, then you can special summon it. So I hope you can see what they're cooking. So effectively, you would summon this monster, destroy it with your own effect, send it to the graveyard, and then just special summon it back. And then it's a big 36 beater that can't be destroyed by battle, can't be targeted by your opponent's effects, and then can't be destroyed by card effects. So the only way your opponent would be able to get rid of it is with non-targeting removal that doesn't destroy, which exists, but is definitely not as easy to do. So I think this one, again, shows the most promise, but as long as you are playing this level 6, level 12 focused version of dinosaurs. The last one is Transcendrick Drillnaphthus. So this guy requires 2 level 6 monsters, has 3000 attack, and you can only use the first and third effect once per turn. So the first effect, you can detach one material from this card, then target one of your banished dinosaur monsters, special summon it, which could definitely happen. Obviously, it happens in dinosaurs. If this card with no materials battles another monster, any battle damage it inflicts your opponent is doubled. And then, of course, the last effect is that you can just bring it back. This one being an Xyz monster, the fact that it could special summon itself from the graveyard with its own effect means that it would come back without any material, so that would just activate its second effect. This one, while it seems cool, and I think it could be useful just to get the stuff that's banished back into your hand, overall I think it's maybe not the most useful out of them. And now we get the single spell of the archetype, which is Ground Zeno, and honestly, that name is amazing. I hope that, you know, these names remain in English and kind of translate over, because Ground Zeno, amazing card. So this is the search spell plus the fusion spell combined into one. You can only use each effect once per turn, obviously. Add one dinosaur tuner monster or dinosaur normal monster from your deck to your hand, then destroy one card in your hand. The second one is you can banish this card from your graveyard, fusion summon one dinosaur fusion monster from your extra deck using materials from your hand or field as fusion materials. So obviously that will summon your big fusion monster. But the first effect, just being able to add a dinosaur tuner and then destroy one card in your hand, is just going to start everything off, because obviously activating this, you're going to search Xeno Meteoros, and then you're going to destroy a baby dinosaur in your hand, and then that's going to start everything off. The baby is going to special summon, and then that's going to trigger Xeno Meteoros, and then you're just going to have everything there. And if you want to continue going on, if you want to fusion, the spell is in the graveyard to use. I think that summoning the Synchro monster is a lot better. And again, this is going to be all without using your normal summon, because you can really just get things rolling from there. It's going to be best to maybe just add Xeno Meteoros, Ground Zeno, a Frostosaurus into your deck, as well as the Synchro monster, in order to make that big thing, which is just going to be a menace. And like I said, it's going to get things rolling and does not use your normal summon at all. So you still have your soul-eating Oviraptor, you still have your Miscellaneousaurus in order to do that. So I think that definitely this is going to be like an added power boost to dinosaurs. I think that, again, the fusion monster and Xyz monster, I don't know how much they're going to be used. And on top of that, like the big main deck level 12, yes, I guess it could be used. And honestly, you could just have it there, especially for the evolution pill cards in order to summon. And on top of that, it is going to be able to send a dinosaur monster to the graveyard. But with everything anything else that you have that allows you to just at least get your big vanillas into play, I think would be helpful. You've at least got the babies to help get that into rotation, and especially because you have all those cards that will continue assisting in destroying. So those are some quick thoughts on the Transcendrakes so far. I think it's really interesting. Like I said, I'm really excited for what we could get here. I obviously use dinosaur monsters. I love the dinosaur deck, even though, yes, it can be annoying, and I know some people don't like it, but honestly, right now, it's the underdog, and so getting support like this is going to be pretty fun. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below about all the Transcendrick monsters, and your thoughts on dinosaurs in general. If you'd like to see more discussion like this about new cards, new archetypes revealed, I'll probably just be sticking to stuff that I personally find interesting, again, like this. But anyway, this has been Gatorx. Have a nice day.